Well, it looks like we are live, and this is, for the first time in a long time, an honest to God live stream. I haven't really been doing the real live streams. I've been doing recorded live streams for so long because we just have had a lot of problems with our internet connectivity. But I had a little talk with StreamYard today, and Trevor over there gave me some pointers on things that we could do to improve our internet connectivity even where we live. And the main thing that we're trying is instead of using the Chrome browser, which uses a lot of resources on your computer, we're using the Firefox browser. And so far, it seems to be working a lot better than what it did. So, fingers crossed, we're going to try to, keep this thing going. And what I would like to do is just start doing regular, real lives on a regular basis again. And we'll just kind of see how this goes and play it by ear. But welcome to tonight's episode. We're calling this Tarot of the Infinite because yeah, that's kind of our philosophy on spirituality. It's like we believe in an infinite source that the universe comes from, that the universe is emanating from one source of all, and we seek to connect with this source through spiritual practices, be it meditation, prayer, or even something like tarot reading. And for tonight's broadcast, what I would like to talk about is what is divination? And yeah, how do I see divination? And people tend, in my opinion anyway, to confuse fortune telling with divination. And from my experience, I can say that there is a definite difference between what most people think of as fortune telling and sincere, noble, honest to God divination. Now, what do I mean by that? What is fortune telling? Let's just take a look at what is fortune telling. Fortune telling is like what you do when you pick up the paper and you read your horoscope. That's an example of fortune telling. Another example of fortune telling is like you go to a party, a Halloween party. They got a person there dressed up as a witch or a ghoul, and they're doing, tarot readings for you. And that's just tarot for entertainment. Nothing wrong with that, but it's kind of like, just lighthearted entertainment at best. Or you go to a Chinese restaurant and at the end of the meal, they bring you a fortune cookie. And you break open your fortune cookie to find out, okay, what is the rest of your life really going to be like? And what are the winning lottery numbers? And, it's all just fun and games, nothing too serious about it. And that's how I see fortune telling. It's like parlor games, parlor tricks that people play, and they go to the fortune teller and they ask silly questions like, I had somebody ask me, wanting to know what tarot reading was, and this person asked me, "Will I ever find happiness?" And I just said to her, that's a really bad question to ask because first of all, what if the cards say no? What if you ask, will I ever find happiness? And the death card comes up. That happens, unfortunately, in some readings, and people don't really take that quite the right way. And it's like, yeah, what if the answer is no? What if you ask the question, will I ever find happiness? And it's a negative spread. A better question would be, how can I build happiness into my life? See, when it comes to my happiness, I don't look upon that as a gift of fate. I look at it as something I have to build and construct within my own life with the help of the universe, with the help of the muses and the fates and the God of my understanding. So, when people ask in like tarot reading, will I ever find happiness anymore? I suggest that we rephrase the question and rephrase the question in a way such as this: what can I do to bring greater happiness into my life because your future is not fated to you. Your future depends on what you do right here and now in your life. And that's how I see fortune telling. Fortune telling usually emphasizes fate over free will. And it's usually done at best just for lighthearted entertainment. And at worst, it can be a way of manipulating and controlling people, not empowering people, but manipulating and controlling people. I've seen some very unscrupulous fortune tellers get their hooks into people and convincing them that, oh my God, you are fated with bad luck. You're fated with a lot of past life negativity. You got a lot of negative karma that you got to clean up, and in order to clean this up, you got to buy holy water. You got to buy holy candles. You got to buy some holy cards. You got to buy holy oil. You need holy this, holy that. You got to pay for a $2,000 ritual to purge all this negativity out of your life. And they scare the hell into people so that they can make a profit off of people in the future. Divination is not like that. Fortune telling in its most negative sense can be done as a way of just convincing people that they're fated by the powers that be and the gods and everything else to be miserable, unless you pay me a lot of money to remove that negative energy from you. Now, divination, in comparison, is a lot more empowering. It's not about fun and games, although we can have fun doing divination. But I see divination as doing what we can, the best that we can, to connect with the God of our understanding, the God of my understanding, the God of your understanding. Connect with the universe. It's divination to me, the root word, the root of divination is divine. And divination is the art of connecting with the divine through one spiritual practice or another. One way we can connect with the divine is through tarot cards. Another way that we can connect with the divine without tools. The purest and I think the best way to connect is just through your own heart, through the practice of meditation. And yeah, through just by centering yourself, making yourself available to the divine, we can connect to the God of our understanding. We can connect to the source of the universe and find our answers inside, not through tarot cards, not through other outer tools, although they do have their uses. And, a lot of people, when they're beginning divination, they will use tools. They will use tools like tarot cards. My grandmother, God rest her soul, she was a fortune teller, might as well say, a divination person, but she was of Irish traveler descent. And back in the Depression era, she was doing fortune telling using playing cards. She taught me a little bit about how to use uh, playing cards to do fortune telling. And I later expanded upon that and found out that you can connect to the divine using playing cards and a whole lot of other tools. And yeah, she taught me a few things about that. Had her thing. She would try to do her form of divination and fortune telling using tea leaves and coffee grounds. She would break open an egg and look at the yolk. She had a crystal ball, which I have inherited. And I mean, back in the Great Depression era, she would do one thing or another to try to hustle up a few extra dollars. And yeah, that was part of her art as being of gypsy descent, Irish traveler. And yeah, she taught me a few things about that. But divination, in its purest sense, it's not really about hustling up money. It's about connecting to the divine so you can help your clients build a better life in the here and now. And now, a question that people ask is how can you connect with the divine through things like tarot cards or playing cards? Well, I like to use this as an example. This is a tarot card from the giant Rider Waite deck, which I use for presentations and teaching. But it's a deck that represents it's a card that represents the world. In other decks, it's called the universe. And what do we know about the world? What do we know about the universe? Well, we know that the material universe is made up of energy. And if you've ever thought very deeply about that, I mean, we know that the universe is made up of energy. We've known that since the early days of the 20th century with Albert Einstein, E equals mc squared, the detonation of the modern world's first atomic bomb in New Mexico. They demonstrated quite effectively that matter is energy. And when you can liberate that energy from matter, you can create one hell of an explosion and do a lot of damage too in a very short period of time by suddenly liberating all that energy. And we now know that, yeah, energy is present throughout the entire universe, even empty space, even the so called vacuum of space contains a boatload of energy. And there are people who have asked over time, uh, where does this energy come from? What is this energy that the universe is made out of? And, one explanation that I happen to agree with, it comes straight out of a text called the Kybalion. But the universe is made of divine energy. The universe is made up of thought energy emanating from the divine mind, because our thoughts are a form of energy. You can take electrical, gizmos and gadgets and put them around a person's head and use that to kind of read people's thoughts, more or less. The technology is still in its infancy, but you know, Elon Musk is experimenting with stuff like this using his Neuralink business. But yeah, we know now that thoughts are electrical impulses, and that you can pick up on this energy at a distance. And yeah, the universe, according to the Kabbalion, is made up of energy, which is thought energy. As the Kabbalion says, the universe is mental, but meaning the universe, it's not crazy. It's just made up of mental energy, thought energy, the thoughts of the divine. And once you meditate on this for a while, once you begin to accept this as being true, then you begin to realize, we're not separate from the divine. We, as material beings with material flesh and blood bodies, we are made up of divine energy. As some teachers say, we are manifestations of the divine. We are material beings. Actually, we are spiritual beings having a material experience in this rock solid materiality that we make our home in. And so there are people that run around thinking that we're separate from God. And that's the way I was raised. I was raised, Roman Catholic, was a candidate for the Catholic priesthood for a while, decided not to go that direction, decided to go into other forms of ministry. Now we do our own kind of non sectarian form of ministry. But yeah, I was raised thinking that we are separate from God, we are separate from the divine. And our quest is to go through this life the best we can and try to reconnect with God. But when you begin to think that the universe is actually made up of divine energy, that the divine is found in everything, the divine is found in me, in you, in a pack of playing cards, in a glass bottle that I sometimes use as a drinking glass, in a coffee mug that I use to drink my coffee out of. The divine is found everywhere. Divine energy makes up the entire material universe, and the entire spiritual universe, both things seen and unseen. So, when you think about people thinking that they are cut off from the divine, which is a feeling that a lot of us have. I've had that feeling for a great many years. You think about that and you can laugh because it's kind of like a fish feeling that it's cut off from water. And here the fish is swimming in water, but it feels disconnected, cut off from the water that it is literally swimming in. We're in the exact same boat. We are swimming in divine energy, unawares, thinking that we are cut off from the divine. And in Buddhism and Hinduism, they call this the illusion of separation. And once you begin to figure it out, it really is kind of comical. Because, yeah, we're like blind people walking through the world thinking that color does not exist because we can't see it. And yeah, a lot of materialists are walking through the world right now thinking there is no God or they are cut off from God because they can't experience it. But once you learn to practice meditation and once you've been doing it for a while, you begin to realize we are not cut off from God. We are a part of God, and everything is a part of God. In the book of Genesis, you know, uh, the patriarch Joseph from the story, the Joseph and his coat of many colors. As the story goes, he was sold into slavery in Egypt by his brothers, but he was gifted with two forms of divination. One was the interpretation of dreams, and he was very good at interpreting dreams. So good, as a matter of fact, he enraged his brothers, and that's what precipitated them capturing him, knocking the tar out of him, throwing him into a pit, and then selling him into slavery to a caravan that was traveling into Egypt. And so, yeah, he was a dream interpreter and could predict the future that way. He also, as you get further into the story in the book of Genesis, when he meets up with his brothers again, he has a goblet, a fancy, I don't know what, silver goblet, gold goblet. Forget the material the goblet was made of, but he hides that in the belongings of his youngest brother as they're preparing to leave Egypt, and he pretends to catch them in the act, and he grabs his goblet away and he's having a little bit of fun with his brothers, kind of make up for the fact that they sold him into slavery in Egypt, and they don't know him as their brother Joseph yet. They just know him as this great Egyptian official, second only to Pharaoh. And he grabs his goblet and he says, "Look, don't you know that a man of my stature must surely practice divination?" And yeah, the commentators that I read say that, yeah, Joseph was a practitioner of the art of hydromancy. So, in addition to practicing dream interpretation and using that as a form of connecting with the divine through divination, he also most likely practiced hydromancy, where you just look into liquid in a vessel of some sort, and with practice, you can see the divine in that liquid, kind of like reading a crystal ball or looking into a glass crystal or other forms of crystal. And people can ask, how can something physical connect you to the divine? And people have asked that. How can I find the divine in a book? How can I find the divine in a playing card, a tarot card, or stones, or water, or flights of birds? Well, the answer to that is that the divine is in everything. And once we begin to acknowledge that fact, then we can connect with the divine in anything and everything. Once we develop the mindset that we're not separate from the divine, we are part and parcel, part of the divine. We are manifestations of the divine in each in our own way. And everything that we see around us is brought to us by the divine. If the divine were to stop thinking about me, I would disappear. I would cease to be if that were possible. And anything else and everything else in the material world, you can say the same thing about it. It's not that we're taking the material world and making it God. Rather, we are seeing that everything in the material world is a manifestation of God. And you can see the creator in the creation. And to me, that is divination, realizing that we are connected, each in our own way, with the divine. And through the practice of divination, whether it be through tarot cards or through dice or through watching birds or nature, or just settling down and quieting ourselves through the practice of meditation and connecting with the God of our heart deep within our soul. We practice divination, we connect with God through those spiritual practices. How? Because, like they teach us in children's Sunday school, where is God? God is everywhere. And, we hear that as children, and we later grow up to become adults, and we think, that is kind of silly, isn't it? To think that God is everywhere. How can that be? And then you begin to meditate on it for a while, begin to understand, yeah, God is everywhere because God makes up everything. God is the divine energy that makes up the universe, the multiverse, all the worlds, both seen and unseen, and nothing exists apart from God. And when you come to that realization, it really is quite empowering because it removes a lot of fear. A lot of us were raised with the fear that if you don't do the right things, if you don't say the right things, if you don't act the right way, God's going to get you. God's going to send you to hell for the rest of all eternity. And a lot of people live with that fear that if they screw up in some way, God's going to send them to hell where they will be separate from God for all time, for all eternity, where a lot of bad, nasty things can happen to them. And the reality is quite the opposite. We when we feel that we're separate from God, we create that separation. But the truth of the matter is God makes us up. We are children of God. We exist in the mind of God. We are a part of God that can never be cut off. It's like in the book of what is it, Isaiah? Beautiful passage out of the book of Isaiah. Can I ever forget you, my people? It's like, can I cut off my right hand? You are my right hand. You are my people. Can a mother forget her child, or a woman the child within her womb? And he says, yes, even if these forget, I will never forget my own. Why? Because you are a part of me. It's like the Beatles. I am the walrus. Our connection to God is kind of like that. When I first heard that line from I am the walrus, I am he, as you are me, and we are all together. I thought I was still drinking back in those days, and I thought, man, that's funny as heck, isn't it? That's really funny. But you start meditating on that and thinking deeply about it, and you think, yeah, they were really on to something. It's like I think George Harrison had a lot to say about the writing of that lyric. Yeah, we are connected with God, and God is connected with us, and we can never become separate from God, though we try. A lot of people try very hard to separate themselves from God. But in the end, I think once we learn to see that we are part of the divine and the divine is a part of us, then a lot of fear is eliminated. A lot of doubt is cleared up. A lot of meaning comes into our life because we go from being separate, random beings floating on a sea of uncertainty to being connected to the creator, the master of the universe, the source from whom all things emanate. And so to me, that is the beauty of divination. It is not fortune telling in that we try to predict the future, but it's connecting to the divine to empower us so that we can not just know the future, because I don't really want to know the future. What I want to do in divination is to connect with the divine, to become empowered so I can create the future that I want to create. I don't want to be fated to any one future. I want to know, okay, what powers do I have at my command? What talents do I have? And how can I use these powers and talents to create a better future for me, for my wife, for my family, for my community, for my world at large? What can I do to create a better future outcome? And that's what I try to do in my tarot reading. It's what my wife and I have been doing now in our tarot reading practice for quite a number of years now. And if you would want to come to us for tarot reading, we are relaunching our tarot reading service. It's our own private network that we are building up, but you can contact us by phone and schedule and go ahead and connect with us. See, we give advice on love and relationships. We give generic, non-sectarian spiritual advice, and there are other ways too that we can help people out. But if you like to check us out online, go to that website there that you're seeing up on the screen, Reverend Heydi Tarot.net. And right now, our going rate is $69.99 for up to 1 hour session. We do readings in Spanish. My wife handles the Spanish. And then we also do English. I handle the English. And so, yeah, check us out there at reverendheiditarot.net. But yeah, that's how we handle tarot reading, how we handle spiritual counseling is that, this is divination. This is not fortune telling. It's not us telling you what your future is going to be like it's fated to you. No, it's us connecting to the divine, helping you to connect with the divine of your understanding and helping you discover what are your strengths, what are your powers, what are your weaknesses, what are the talents that you have that you can use to create a better life for yourself. And for God's sake, don't come to us and say, will I ever get married? Will I ever find happiness? That's all in your control. You need to be an active participant in your life. And what we try to do with our own style of divination and tarot reading is help you to see the power within yourself and to use it to better yourself. Use it for good. And you know what? We're trying to work ourselves out of a job. We've had a lot of clients over the years, a lot of beautiful people, and the best of these people we've helped so much we never hear from them again. And that's our philosophy. There are readers out there and fortune tellers that will try to keep you all hyped up, all scared about one thing or another, because they know that once they get their client scared and afraid and confused, that client's going to be coming back again and again and again to pay for more readings. We don't like doing that. We do not do that. We want to work ourselves out of a job. We want to get you so well focused on your life and so well centered in your own life that eventually you don't need me anymore. You can fly free. You can fly. Uh, you don't need to pay for advice anymore. And yeah, we've had some people that have come to us over the years that have gone off on their own and built great lives for themselves. We got one lady that has become kind of like an adopted daughter to us in New Jersey, and she's come so far in her life over the last 5 years. It's just beautiful to see. And that's the kind of success stories that we like to see. People coming to us full of fear, full of dread, screwed up because sometimes life can be just really screwed up. It can throw the works at you and you don't know how to deal with it. And we like to take people that are in that state, calm them, and show them the power they have within themselves and build their own faith in themselves and in the God of their understanding, and give them the power to create a world, a much better world for themselves, just by tuning in, finding that they have the power, and deciding to use that power and building their own life. That's our philosophy at ReverendHeidiTarot.net. So again, you like to check us out, do so. The address is there on the screen. And if you like to go ahead and schedule a phone consultation, we don't do tarot reading. We do tarot consultation because we take this very serious. This is not like, funsy that we do. This is like serious spiritual direction that we do. And the customers, the clients that we've connected with over the years, we've been able to do some good for them, and that's great. And if you think we might be able to do the same for you, uh, would love to hear from you. So, anyway, this is Ralph signing out. My cat finally showed up. I got a little black cat to match my black shirt. But yeah, you heard me in here broadcasting all by myself. Yes. Well, anyway, yeah, thanks for dropping by. And what I want to do, it looks like this has really worked quite nicely during prime time. So yeah, we'll be doing live streams more regularly from now on. Be doing a live stream in the morning and a live stream in the evening. The live stream in the morning will be centered around affiliate marketing. We'll be doing that around 9 a.m. again. And then, yeah, around 5 o'clock, we'll be doing Talking Tarot with Tarot of the Infinite. So, yeah, we'll catch you tomorrow, 9 a.m. affiliate marketing, and 6 p.m., 5 p.m. around that time, Talking Tarot. Till later, take care. Thanks for dropping by. Catch you in future streams. And man, have a great life, folks. We'll see you later. Bye bye.